Well, good morning from West Tennessee. Got the dogs ready to go farming. Y'all are ready to go farming. Y'all give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, but let's go get to it. And ooh, that looks dangerous. Yeah, we got to do a little mechanicing later on. Worked on that project a bit a couple days ago. We're gonna wrap it up. First, we need to go get some animals fed and checked on. Actually, you probably see the cow herd through the trees over there on the next ridge. Enjoying some grazing. We'll get to them here in just a little while. Bulls are fed. Those cows, they're all piled up down there at the gate. You can probably see them right through there. I fed them, of course they were in this pasture, so we feed them in these bunks along the fence for like just 2 or 3 days in a row, mainly while we were trying to catch those bulls, get them separated. And now they think every morning, as soon as they hear us rattling around the feed bins, they're gonna get fed. But it is gonna be a miserable one today. I believe, yeah, 6:15. It's 79 degrees, feels like 87. Headed towards a high of 99. I'm sure it'll feel about like 115. But the joys of the South in the summertime. There's always a silver lining to every situation, no matter how bad sometimes it may seem. I think that's a key in life. And the silver lining to this drought we're in right now is that our mud hole right here that used to be such a pain to drive through to get back to this one pasture, it's not much of a mud hole right now. Oh yeah, a bunch of them boys out there grazing on the hillside before the sun gets up and gets too blazing hot. She's a wee bit dusty around the feed bunks, but I think it looked like they pushed the mineral feeder off down in the woods, which, why they feel the need to have to do that, I don't know. Usually that means it's getting pretty low, it's light, and yeah, she ain't out. I checked it yesterday. I knew it still had some mineral in there. I'm gonna have to put the camera down. Two-hand job to drag that back up here. But we're gonna need to bring a bag for tomorrow. It will be out by then. Okay, got her repositioned back up there. I'll probably have it pushed back off down. Not tomorrow, but we'll bring a bag. I'm up here on the perch. Let's see if we can count everybody. That's only 44 heads, so didn't even come close to counting everybody. Now the question is, which direction do we got to look for them? Do we go that way, or that way, or that way? They would like to lay eyes on at least the vast majority of them. And there's 21 more. There's a couple around the corner there. You can't see them. You have to take my word for it. But you see right here, Sadie kind of walks through it and demonstrates. We've got grass. I mean, they are not out of grass. They are not about to run out of grass anytime soon. But as Logan and I were discussing last night, recording for Talk Dirt to Me, which again, give the podcast a plug. Check out Talk Dirt to Me podcast. You can go to talkdirtpodcast.com or just search Talk Dirt to Me wherever you listen to podcasts. And then there's a link in the description for this video. Guess what I was getting at? We're really dry. There's a little chance of rain this weekend, although I see they have decreased it since last night. When I woke up this morning, they had dropped it from like a 55% chance down to like a 45% chance, so that's typical. If we miss this next rain, grass is gonna get to the point where it just ain't growing. He said he's got some soybeans in some places that if they don't get a rain here in the next week or so, they may not make the crop. Not the crop as a whole, but just in some particular farms. But it's all 65 of these boys checked on. We can get back home and get to that job I've been dreading. Now y'all go eat some grass and gain some weight. So what in the world kind of mechanic and mess have I got myself into? Of course, obviously this is the farm truck or feed truck, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people have never seen something like this, but basically it's called a bale bed, hydro bed, whatever. The hydraulic lift arms, these squeeze in. Basically, a couple of the lines over on this side, we're pretty sure that was our problem. That's obviously the new one. We're leaking, so we pulled those off of there This was a couple days ago. Yeah, on the 4th. Family was out of town. Didn't have a lot going on. I knew I wouldn't be able to get the lines made until yesterday. When everybody opened back up for business, it was fine. We weren't gonna need the truck. So I went ahead and popped that one on there. We gotta get them fed through there. It is a pain in the butt to get to where they gotta hook back in there, and it's on top of that the fuel tank. Whew. It's kind of a bear to get to, but I got them off there without too much trouble. You know, I was soaking wet and covered in oil and grease, and I imagine I will be again here in just a bit, but we'll see if we can get that back on there and then say a prayer, cross our fingers, and hope it doesn't leak and everything works as it should, because mechanicking is probably the one aspect of running the farming operation that I lack in the most. I feel like I'm a pretty decent like forage manager, kind of the grass farming part of it, you know, competent, you know, in the animal husbandry, that sort of thing. Can do okay when it comes to like maintenance, certainly of fences, hanging gates, you know, even doing a little bit of plumbing here and there. But when it comes to being a mechanic, that's probably where I am the most efficient. One reason why that tractor's still sitting there, which update on it, I believe may have somebody come and look at it this afternoon or sometime in the next couple of days. But yeah, we'll see if we can get this thing working again. Okay, I got those 2 lines attached. I can't try to show you what I was doing. I was skinning my head up. Yeah, I had to hook those 2 lines in right there and there. And you're operating in a cubby hole, more or less. It's the only part that makes it difficult. That and the fact that you're not a mechanic, and it's probably feels like temperature in the 90s by now. Haven't mentioned that I'm not a mechanic. Not a very smart one anyway. So, good deal. Got those lines hooked up right there to the cylinder. Oh, yeah. They got to run inside that tubing. So, not a huge mistake. We're just going to have to unhook those and run through there, then reattach them. But we're getting there. All right, so we got it all back together, we think. Need to clean up, pick up the tools, check, be sure we got plenty of hydraulic fluid in the reservoir up there. And then again, say that prayer, cross our fingers that it works and it doesn't leak. And yeah, nothing's in a bind or anything, but yeah, this job's always, especially for somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, it's just simply unhook a line there, unhook a line there, get a new one made, replace it, boom. That's easy. Yeah, maybe for somebody that does this on a regular basis, but even still, there's little things getting binds and it's hard to get to stuff. And okay, well, we'll see if we actually accomplished anything. Hydraulic fluid in there, but I'm gonna top her off just a little. Yeah, I decided we'll leave the tools out until we test it and make sure everything stays together. And so it's not jinx ourselves. Have to get everything back out. Oh, joy, joy, joy. Well, that's the hose that's leaking. Oh my goodness. Well. So we get to do the same thing over here on the other side. It's always something. These lines needed to be replaced anyway, but that line right there is clearly the one that's been leaking. I don't know that the 2 that we just replaced weren't. Maybe that's wishful thinking, me justifying what I just did, but okay, well at least now we have a little better idea of what we're doing. Yeah, we clearly need to replace that line. So we're gonna do the same thing on this other side. Problem being, you gotta pull that pin, see it, that washer was welded on. Same thing over here, so I'm gonna have to get the grinder, grind through that. And my plan all along was to knock this job out early because I've got to run into my office this morning, even though it's technically my day off. got a couple of procedures we already had scheduled that we couldn't move. So my plan was, yeah, get all that done and then go get cleaned up. Well, now I'm gonna have to go get cleaned up and then come back out here and get dirty all over again. But oh well, it is what it is. There's worse problems in the world. But yeah, I think we'll just leave this stuff as it is and come back and tackle this here in just a little while. And look who made it back home. So the family pulled up right as I was getting those hoses off there. Have I mentioned that it was gonna be hot today? Woo, and we in here in the shade. Kids went to town with me. We got some Sonic drinks. I got a pen. I think it's gonna work. I just need to I'll pull that little ring off of it. I don't know what the kids do with the washers. And then it will be, fingers crossed, prayers up, everything holds together. There they are. And nothing leaks. We'll pop that on there. Well, woo doggy. Looks like a second time was the charm. I got them hooked up appropriately. You know, they don't clamp in perfect time with one another. That's okay. But they both clamped when they're supposed to clamp, both open when they're supposed to open. Of course, the lift, we never even adjusted that. So what it had done, one of those hoses just, and it's hard to put like a little gasket or anything around there. You can see where it may have had one at one time. I got actually this rubber here that we're gonna try to fit back in there just to protect those hoses, to keep them from you know, just rubbing a bad spot in them like it did. But this project I've been kind of dreading for a while. You know, we had known since back, well, we hadn't been using the bale bed since we were feeding hay. So yeah, we smartly waited until it got really, really hot, you know, one of the hottest days of the year, before we tackled a project like this. So more mechanicking tips from me. That's just yet another reason why I will admit I'm not a very good mechanic. My timing nor my skills are very good. They actually, and I hate to even mention it, bumped us up to a decent little rain chance, like 30% for today, which means more than likely it's not gonna rain. But I got probably 45 minutes worth of tool pickup to do. So I get that in there, do a couple other little things. Then I might go inside and sit down and have a tall glass of ice water before we start doing some afternoon chores. Okay, project complete. Got that kind of little gasket in there or whatever so it won't rub. Hopefully those hoses will last a little longer this go around, which Lord only knows how long they've been on there. But can y'all believe my wife pulled up a couple hours ago? I was out here working. Hadn't seen her in like 6 days. Sun's bright now. She wouldn't give me a hug. I was like, come on, babe. I haven't seen you in days. I don't know what was up, so I don't know, I might be in the doghouse or something. Yeah, wouldn't even give me a hug. Another little small project, pretty simple one. We were wanting to create some kind of a little arena drag to use in the new horse arena, you know, to smooth it up for the girls after they've been riding, jumping and whatnot. And had looked at all kinds of things, but that sand, it takes something really, really light. And another friend of hers that does a lot of riding has it's probably a similar type surface in the arena, suggested just taking these wire panels. I'm gonna try it just like this. I'm suspicious that we may need to add just a little weight to it, like maybe just a wooden fence post or something kind of tied down to it, strapped down to it, just to give it a little weight. But I don't know. Everybody's pretty much said it needs to be something really, really light, almost like what they would, you know, prep like a baseball, you know, infield dirt with, something like that. So we'll see. We're gonna drag that up there and just see what it looks like, see what it does. And actually, that really may be all it needs. Calming her. She's gonna be really mad when she comes out here and sees cows got in here and crap. But oh well. I guess I don't have to whisper. She is inside, but woo, it's nice and cool. Nice and cool out here right now. All we need is to throw up a levee down there, make us a lake, and heck, it'd be like you're sitting on the beach right here, the sand and the water. Just for fun of it. It's just a few minutes before 3 p.m. Let's see. Guess the heat index. I'm gonna say 112. And I promise I did not just check it. It's 113 heat index. A smooth 100 on temperature. I don't know if y'all can see that at all, but one feels like 113. All right. Yeah. Gee, give me a pina colada and just sit out here and sunbathe. Nah, we're not gonna do that. But yeah, I'm actually gonna call her out here, let her see what it's doing, and maybe score a couple of little brownie points. Do you approve of it?
I'm not getting rid of the poop, but I guess it's better than what it was. Better nothing.
Wow. I thought I was gonna get major brownie points for this.
No, I'm not. It's not for you, honey. It's about the device that we chose.
The brownie points are for me though.
Yes, it's about the device. It's like it's.
She's not fully impressed.
It's better than it was.
The life of a husband. Well, it's just too dang hot to be doing much else this afternoon, but wanted to ride and kind of scout some of the hay fields. There's some Bermuda grass. Of course, there's some clover in here that's burnt up. Some Johnson grass, which again, I mentioned it before, we don't mind Johnson grass at all. Actually, we like it in our cow hay. Growing up, it was very much a weed when we were square baling a lot of Bermuda for horse hay. But yeah, we fertilized this, what, I'm trying to even think, 10 days or so ago, and it got that 1/10 of an inch of rain, and that is it. I mean, it's really burning up. You can see that Johnson grass is rolling up, much like you see corn doing this time of year during the sweltering heat when it's really dry. We're going out of town here in a couple of weeks, and I kind of hoped that I guess about 10 or so acres that we had cut about 6 weeks ago, including this, would be ready to cut before we left. So I might be mowing it like here in another week or 10 days. I don't know. No, it sure as heck ain't ready to cut now. If we call it a rain by some chance here in the next few days, especially that fertilizer that we'd already put down, that Bermuda may really jump. Bermuda likes the heat, but it needs some water. Maybe, but probably looking at not getting any more hay cut until we get back in town, if I had to bet right now. But it'll be 4 o'clock by the time I get back home. Anyway, it's 3:45. I think I'm gonna get a shower, get inside, relax, spend a little time with the family, then just getting back in town. So it's gonna probably wrap it up for this one. Appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Keep tuning back in. I don't know what we'll be doing next. We do have a few more projects that have kind of been on the to-do list, like getting that truck repaired. I'm really glad to get that done. Fingers crossed. Looks like everything's good to go on it. But some other little projects. Be back in the hayfield hopefully soon enough. But you don't ever know. Got to preg check some cows there for too long. But as always, remind y'all, eat beef and God bless.